Welcome to the March 1st, 2024 meeting, March 7th, 2024 meeting, just apologize, of the Riverfront Design Committee. My name is Ricardo Montoya. I am the chair of the committee. When called on, applicants and speakers will come to the front podium to speak. Only one person at a time should come to the podium. Don't approach the podium until vacated by previous speaker. Speak into the microphone, please, and identify yourself and provide your address for the record when you begin speaking. Address your comments, questions, and testimony to the committee. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. It is unnecessary to repeat testimony previously given by others. Citizens may address the committee on agenda items by responding to chair's call for speakers during discussion on each item and signing the speaker's log on the podium. All comments must be relevant to the item. The chair or presiding officer may, in his or her discretion, prohibit a person from addressing the committee and/or remove that person from council chambers if that person commits any disorderly or disruptive behavior. Please see the agenda for more information about these requirements. If you parked in the Sheridan Walker parking garage north of John Rex Elementary School or the Arts District parking garage immediately south of City Hall, staff can provide a parking validation ticket to you. The agenda and documents are located at https://okc.primegov.com/public/portal. You would then select the Riverfront Design Committee meeting, then click on an agenda item and the relevant documents will come up below the item. Keith, will you please call the roll?
Montoya.
Present.
Prado.
Present.
Howard.
Present.
Lyons. Present. Postick.
Present.
Templeton.
Present.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Item 2, approval of minutes. Approval of the February 1st, 2024 meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from the February 1st, 24 meeting.
Templeton, second.
Thank you. Cast your votes. Okay.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Item 3, cases withdrawn, there are none. Item 4, continuance requests, none. Item 5, consent docket, none. Item 6, cases for individual consideration, none. And item 7, we have other business. Item 7A, PC 10922 at 1512 Briars Avenue.
Good morning, Laura Griggs, Planning Department. And when the screen changes, I will show you the pictures. There we go. Wait, I can't see it. There it is. So this is an existing duplex that's located just down the street from the unfortunately closed Shiler Elementary School. As you can see, this structure has been around for a while. It is currently zoned C4, which does not allow residential uses. The current owner is needing to get it zoned properly so that he can get a mortgage on it. It is adjacent to, it's across the street from a park that then flows into the school. You can see the park on the right. It's within a residential neighborhood. That's Rotary Park, which fronts on Southeast 15th, which is across the street from the duplex. And then you can see north of the park, the school. Adjacent to the duplex, you have houses on both the south and the east. So I will go back to this one. They're requesting a straight rezoning, and what that means is that they're not asking for it to be removed from the design district, which means the design district guidelines and regulations will still be enforced for any future proposed revisions or development of the site. Right now, he's not planning on doing anything to it, just get it zoned properly. You are here to make a recommendation to the Planning Commission because it's in the Scenic River Overlay Design District. The rezoning is consistent with the existing appropriate use of the property and is compatible with existing development in the surrounding area, as you saw from the pictures. The property would remain an SRODD. As I stated, any development and redevelopment would be required to conform with the development regulations and guidelines of the design district. Future development, redevelopment would have to submit a certificate of approval, which might be able to be done administratively or have to come to committee for approval. Because of all of this, staff is recommending that you provide a recommendation of approval to the Planning Commission. The applicant is here. If you have questions for either of us. So from that perspective, I'll turn it back over to you and ask if you have any questions.
I have no questions. Any committee members have any questions, or would the applicant like to speak on the item?
Nope.
If you could just
she said it
identify
all.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm Andy Nelson.
I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion.
Perfect.
6-0. Thank you so much.
Motion passes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Item B, PC 10924 at 1025 Southeast 15th Street. Laura?
So the next two cases, the rezoning, and then there's a CE that also involves the same property. So this is also on Southeast, near Southeast 15th. The other one is just to the west. This site is closer to I-35. And for the most part, it is to the northeast and west. It's surrounded by oil production. There's tanks, there's pump jacks, there's all kinds of stuff going on up there. They are platted lots that when you look at the street and you see curb cuts and driveways, there probably used to be houses there. I'm not familiar with that area. But right now it is vacant. And this is what the site looks like from Southeast 15th Street. Across the street, you have houses, and there's a residential neighborhood. This is looking back to the west. The site's on the right. And you could actually, there is a view of downtown from that area, which it's amazing to me how far away from downtown you can actually see the buildings downtown. But this also shows that on the other side of the oil production property, there is a strip center that's mostly industrial type uses, auto-related type uses. And so you can see some of the oil production activity that is going on in that area. And there's some short signs. I think they probably were little billboards, but right now they don't have anything on them. So this is another request for a straight rezoning. And what that means is that anything that they want to do there will have to get a certificate of approval and comply with SRODD regulations and guidelines. You are looking at this to provide a recommendation to the Planning Commission. We had met with the applicant. It's a little unusual that you have R1 zoning that is surrounded by industrial zoning, because you normally, that is not a good mix. And so having this rezoned to a non-residential district, in this case, he's zoning to rezone to commercial C3, is definitely a more appropriate zoning adjacent to industrial than an R1 zoning. And staff does support this. and makes a recommendation that you provide a recommendation of approval to the Planning Commission. And so the first thing we're talking about is the rezoning. We do have a representative here for the applicant because he was unable to attend today. But do you have any questions on the rezoning?
Not hearing any questions. Anyone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to provide a recommendation of approval to the Planning Commission on the basis that the project complies with the Scenic River Overlay Design District zoning ordinance as referenced in Section C of the staff report.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Prado, second.
Was that second, was that, Dana, was that you? Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. Well, yes, thank you. Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item C, CE 01120 at 1025 Southeast 15th, same property. And second.
Okay, let me get back. These slides will be oddly familiar since most of the pictures you've seen. And so this is the alley, platted alley right-of-way between those two blocks of property that he rezoned. And this, in talking with him, the problem was getting access to the property in the back if he didn't actually have the alley. And so when an alley gets closed and then subsequently vacated, it gets split down the middle, and the north half would go to the property owner of the north, and that way. Well, he owns both, and so he would get all of that, so he would end up with a contiguous block of property to be able to redevelop. As stated in the staff report, the property to the east is not platted. And so let me go back to, well, I thought I had it somewhere. Hang on just a minute. There it is. I knew I had a different slide. So you can see the property to the east where it says I-1, I-2, and it doesn't have any other lines in it. Well, it's not platted, which means the alley couldn't go to the east unless somebody wanted to actually plat it, but I don't see that happening because that's where the oil production is. And all around this is the oil production, and we do not see the alley ever being put in. It's never physically been in. And staff, as I stated in here, the property to the west is owned by Magellan Pipeline, and I can't remember the name of the property to the east because it's another company that owns it, and they've been out there for a long time, and they're not giving up their production land. So, as I also stated in here too, they would have to go to district court if it gets closed to be able to vacate it. At that time, obviously, utility companies are given the opportunity to comment or express concern in case there is something in the platted alley. To the best of our knowledge, there is not anything that has been approved in the platted alley. So staff is recommending that you provide a recommendation of approval to the Planning Commission on this item. And as I stated earlier, we do have a representative for the applicant if you have any questions.
Thank you, Laura. Not hearing any questions, but I would entertain discussion or a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to provide a recommendation of approval to the Planning Commission for the request to close the east-west alley located north of Southeast 15th Street, east of South High Avenue.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item 8, communications.
Administrative report, as you can see, we have another new house that's been approved this time by a person that has actually gotten approval for 2 other houses, and they've just submitted another one. And this is in the property that's between the lower Scissortail Park and Walker, in that area. So if you haven't been over there in a while, you might want to drive through and take a look. And the other is just a revision for a sign for a new business that's down in the farmer's market area. Staff anticipates having a meeting next month for an ordinance amendment. And so you will be getting a quorum email in the next week or 2, just confirming if you can attend, just to make sure we have the 5 people we need to be able to have that meeting.
Thank you. Any additional comments from committee members? All right. Well, thank you so much for attendance today, and see you in April. With that, I'll conclude the meeting.